The year is 1396. Europe stands at a crossroads, its kingdoms and peoples facing a threat unlike any they have seen before. The world is changing, and the fate of nations hangs in the balance. In the heart of the continent, the air is thick with tension as rumors of war and conquest sweep across villages and cities alike. The medieval world, with its rigid hierarchies and ancient traditions, is about to be shaken to its core. The place, Nicopolis, a formidable fortress city perched high above the mighty Danube River. Its stone walls have stood for centuries, guarding the borderlands between east and west. As dawn breaks, the city awakens to the distant sound of marching feet and the clatter of armor. The Danube, a lifeline for trade and travel, now becomes a boundary between two worlds about to collide. Two vast armies stand poised on the brink of battle, their banners fluttering in the early morning breeze. The ground trembles beneath the weight of thousands of soldiers, horses, and siege engines. Tension crackles in the air as commanders issue final orders and soldiers steel themselves for the coming storm. The fields outside Nicopolis are transformed into a stage for one of the most dramatic confrontations of the medieval age. On one side, a Christian army has gathered, a kaleidoscope of banners representing the proud kingdoms and knightly orders of Europe. French, Hungarian, German, and Wallachian warriors stand shoulder to shoulder, united by a common cause, to halt the seemingly unstoppable advance of the Ottoman Empire. Their leaders, princes and nobles, are driven by faith, honor, and the hope of glory. For many, this is a holy war, a last stand to defend Christendom from the encroaching East. On the other side, the disciplined might of the Ottomans assembles. Their ranks are filled with seasoned warriors, elite janissaries, and cavalry renowned for their speed and ferocity. At their head rides Sultan Bayezid I, known as the Thunderbolt, a leader famed for his tactical brilliance and unyielding resolve. Under his command, the Ottoman army has swept across the Balkans, leaving a trail of victories and a reputation for invincibility. The fate of Eastern Europe, and perhaps even Christendom itself, hangs in the balance. Inside Nicopolis, civilians watch anxiously from the city walls, their hopes and fears reflected in every glance. Soldiers grip their weapons, knowing that the outcome of this day could shape the destiny of generations to come. The world holds its breath, waiting for the first clash of steel. This is the Battle of Nicopolis, a clash of civilizations, where East meets West in a struggle that will echo through the centuries. The thunder of hooves, the roar of battle cries, and the clash of swords will decide not just the fate of a city, but the course of history itself. To truly grasp the significance of the Battle of Nicopolis, we must journey back in time to the turbulent late 14th century, a period marked by shifting powers and the relentless march of empires. The world was changing rapidly, and the balance of power in southeastern Europe was teetering on the edge of a dramatic transformation. The once mighty Byzantine Empire, which for centuries had stood as the eastern bulwark of Christendom and a beacon of civilization, was now but a shadow of its former self. Its proud cities and fortresses, once bustling with life and commerce, had fallen into disrepair. The empire's lands, once stretching across the eastern Mediterranean, had been steadily whittled away by the relentless advance of a new and formidable power, the Ottomans. The Byzantines, weakened by internal strife and external threats, could do little to halt the encroaching tide. The Ottomans, led by a succession of ambitious and visionary sultans, had emerged from the rugged steppes and mountains of Anatolia. What began as a small principality had, through a combination of military prowess, strategic marriages, and political cunning, grown into a formidable empire. Ottoman armies, renowned for their discipline and ferocity, swept across the Balkans and into the heart of Europe, conquering vast swathes of territory. Their banners now flew over cities and fortresses that had once seemed impregnable, and their influence stretched from the Balkans to the Middle East, reshaping the political landscape of the region. In the towns and villages of Europe, a palpable sense of dread and uncertainty prevailed. News of Ottoman victories spread quickly, carried by merchants, travelers, and fleeing refugees. The people of Europe watched anxiously as the Ottoman tide crept ever closer, threatening not only their lands but their very way of life. The fear of invasion and the collapse of Christendom haunted the dreams of kings and commoners alike. The fall of Constantinople, the ancient and storied capital of the Byzantine Empire, seemed not just possible but inevitable. Its mighty walls, which had withstood countless sieges, now faced the full might of the Ottoman war machine. The fate of the city, and with it the fate of Christian dominance in the east, hung in the balance. The world watched, holding its breath as the stage was set for a confrontation that would shape the course of history. The growing Ottoman threat was not lost on the kingdoms of Europe. Pope Boniface IX called for a crusade, a holy war to drive back the Turks. Knights and men-at-arms from across the continent answered the call, their ranks swelled by contingents from Hungary, Burgundy, France, England and the Holy Roman Empire. It was a formidable force, but one riven by internal divisions. The Crusaders lacked a unified command, their leaders, each with their own ambitions and agendas, struggling to agree on a cohesive strategy. The stage for this epic confrontation was Nicopolis, a strategically vital fortress city perched on a bluff overlooking the Danube River. The Ottomans, masters of military strategy, had chosen their ground well. Their army, a formidable force of Turkish cavalry and janissaries, those elite infantry troops, awaited the Crusaders, their lines protected by a rampart of sharpened stakes and a screen of archers. The Crusaders, their morale high, approached Nicopolis, unaware of the Ottoman trap that lay in wait. The Battle of Nicopolis began with a thunderous clash of arms. The Crusader knights, clad in shining armor, charged with their characteristic impetuosity, spearheaded by the hot-headed French vanguard. The initial assault was a fearsome spectacle, the heavy cavalry smashing into the Ottoman lines, their lances shattering against Turkish shields. The Crusaders, buoyed by their early success, surged forward, their advance seeming unstoppable. However, the Ottoman commanders, schooled in the art of warfare, had anticipated the Crusaders' tactics. As the Christian knights pressed their attack, they were drawn deeper and deeper into the Ottoman lines, their ranks becoming disordered. Suddenly, on the Sultan's signal, the Ottoman flanks swung inwards, trapping the overconfident Crusaders. Turkish archers unleashed a deadly hail of arrows, while the disciplined janissaries, armed with swords and axes, advanced relentlessly, their formations unwavering. The tide of battle had turned. The Crusader army, its formations broken, its ranks decimated by the relentless Ottoman assault, began to crumble. Panic spread through their ranks as they realized the full extent of the trap they had stumbled into. Many fought bravely, but their valor was in vain. Thousands were cut down where they stood, their bodies littering the battlefield. Others, desperate to escape the carnage, were hunted down by Turkish cavalry or drowned in the Danube. The Battle of Nicopolis was a resounding Ottoman victory. Thousands of Crusaders lay dead, their bodies left to rot in the sun. Many of the noblemen who survived, including the French commanders, were taken prisoner only to be ransomed for vast sums of money. The defeat sent shockwaves through Europe. The Ottoman Empire, already a formidable power, had proven its military superiority over the combined might of Christendom. Nicopolis stands as a stark reminder of the dangers of overconfidence. The fields where the battle raged are silent now, but they echo with the lessons of history, lessons that have shaped the fate of nations. The Crusaders, confident in their numbers and their cause, underestimated both their enemy and the complexity of the campaign ahead. Their failure to adapt, to listen to experienced voices, and to maintain discipline in the face of adversity proved disastrous. The arrogance of some leaders led to rash decisions, fracturing the unity that was so desperately needed in the heat of battle. The importance of unity and discipline on the battlefield cannot be overstated. At Nicopolis, the lack of coordination among the Crusader forces was evident. Different contingents acted independently, often pursuing personal glory rather than the collective good. Meanwhile, the Ottomans, under the leadership of Sultan Bayezid, demonstrated remarkable organization and strategic foresight. Their ability to adapt to changing circumstances, to exploit the weaknesses of their opponents, and to maintain cohesion under pressure was a key factor in their victory. The defeat at Nicopolis had far-reaching consequences, sending shockwaves throughout Europe and further emboldening the Ottomans to press their advantage. In the aftermath, the Ottomans solidified their grip on the Balkans, expanding their influence and tightening their hold on key territories. The psychological impact of the defeat was profound, shaking the confidence of European powers and altering the balance of power in the region. The fall of Constantinople just decades later would confirm the Ottoman Empire as a dominant force in both Europe and the Near East, shaping the destiny of countless peoples for centuries to come. The legacy of Nicopolis is not just one of defeat, but of transformation, of old orders giving way to new realities. But as we reflect on this pivotal moment, we must ask, was the Crusaders' defeat at Nicopolis truly the result of their own mistakes, or was it simply a testament to the Ottomans' military prowess and adaptability? Perhaps it was a combination of both, missteps and misjudgments on one side, met by determination and innovation on the other. What do you think was the most important reason for the Crusader defeat? The answer may reveal as much about the present as it does about the past.